Hi, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington with Discover Brightside, the video podcast, and we are doing jewelry today. I'm so pleased to introduce you to Grace Pareikh. And Grace, share with us your story and journey, and then we're going to show you some pieces. So get one, get a couple, give some away, and it comes in this beautifully packaged box, which I thought was pretty incredible. She packages it in some beautiful material as well. I want you to go and get some. So tell us all about it, Grace, and then show us some jewelry.
Me, Elizabeth. So I'm Grace Pareikh from Tsuga Beadwork, and Tsuga is the name of the genus name of my favorite tree species that I studied for many years. I'm a wildlife biologist by day, and I've been making jewelry for 22 years now, starting my freshman year of high school when I started thinking about DIY Christmas present ideas. I've always loved DIY, and one year I was just like, oh, hey, we have some beads in the basement. And I was just like, I could do some simple, strong bracelets. And my brain just went like a kid in a candy store. Why stop at a single strand? And just started kind of experimenting. One thing led to another. And through college, graduate school, and postdoc life, I always came back to the bead box. And while I started with mostly intricate beadwork with smaller glass beads and then some glass focal beads, I spent a lot of time in the Lake Superior region where I got to see some up close, really striking specimens of amethyst and agates and started getting more and more of an interest in lapidary. And so I started experimenting with adding gemstones into my designs. And my designs are inspired by art and culture from around the world. So rather than trying to replicate things like those exquisite collar necklaces worn by Egyptian royalty, instead, I might use that as inspiration, put it through the hopper, and then sketch out something completely different. And for example, the necklace I'm wearing here, I've got a collar of black labradorite beads and then a little drop at the center and then some cascading fringes. And this shape was inspired by some really striking, intricate metalwork found in the Balkan region. And each one of my pieces is one of a kind. And I use pretty minimal metals. The only metal in my necklaces is in the lobster claw clasp, but the rest of it is made with just beads and thread, which makes it not only flexible, but also good for people with sensitive skin. And I package each one in these drawstring bags made from repurposed clothing to reduce textile waste.
I love it. Um, Yeah, and I think what's so nice is when talking about sensitive skin, a lot of women cannot wear, men too, cannot wear jewelry because of the sensitivity and having these beads. And we were talking earlier about the pet rock and manifestation. And I had another client that was talking about putting crystals in her uh, sunglasses so that you can manifest things. And so having stone has a lot of history and a lot of significance. So I think that you can really wear it and manifest things and enjoy it, have great dreams. I think you've done a great job. So let's see some pieces. I'd love to see some pieces. Yeah.
So I've always loved ancient Egypt since I was a little kid, and the ancient Egyptian royalty are often depicted wearing just these really exquisite collar necklaces. And this is one of my favorite pieces, the Cleopatra, is a nod to that. And so here, this one is a red and black color palette with snowflake obsidian. So it's jet black rock with kind of grayish snowflake looking intrusions. And then, as a nod to ancient Egypt, we've got a little glass scarab bead. Scarabs are symbols of protection in ancient Egypt. And I like to think that a lot of my pieces might hold a memory or part of someone's story. So, for example, maybe somebody studied abroad in Greece in college, and maybe they find a necklace that reminds them of that. Or maybe, like me, they daydream of going to Egypt one day and they might wear a necklace as a reminder of that. But this is my signature piece. And then this is another one that's inspired by Moroccan bridal jewelry. Oftentimes, Moroccan brides wear this
Yeah.
really exquisite, intricate silverwork gemstones with the silverwork jewelry, and there's often a symmetrical design. And this is another one of my favorites. So this one features unakite with an autumn burgundy and orange color palette. So we've got rows of Unakite beads and then a little peach glass leaf drop at the base. So a great statement piece. Love wearing this with a solid V-neck top. And this is a pair of my earrings. And I first did this design a little over 20 years ago, and I decided to experiment with some 3D shapes. So this one you can see it has a kind of a neat 3D shape. And my aunt said, whoa, this kind of reminds me of one of those pagodas that you see in Southeast Asia. So I've dubbed this design the pagoda. So we've got this cool pyramid shape up top and then these delicate little dangles. And this particular pair features zoisite stones in a red, hot pink, and green color palette. And all of my earrings are on sterling silver hooks. And last but not least, we've got a couple of my bracelets. So this one is the Stone Crossing. So this one features Amazonite. And all of my bracelets are totally metal free and they're made with polymer stretch cord, which lends well to a forgiving fit. So you can slide them on and off pretty easily. And this design reminds me of a lot of the geometric patterns you see in art from around the world. And this is one that took a little experimentation. First time around, I had the zigzag as the outside row and it just flared out. And then, okay, time to think about the physics again. And so I discovered if I added this rust colored strand on the outside, ta-da, everything sat perfectly. And so this is one of my personal favorite designs. And it's kind of mesmerizing to watch it come together.
Yeah, I think that's all very nice. Yes.
Yep. And then this one was inspired, you can see the beadwork is kind of reminiscent of a suspension bridge that you see in many parts of the world where there are some really striking suspension bridges. And so this one features double drilled gemstone beads. This one is poppy jasper in a very seasonally fitting red and green color palette. So we've got the poppy jasper suspension bridge, and then these loops of red beads. And then the outside, we've got these sand colored stones and one of my favorite stones, moss agate beads. So this is a really fun
Yeah.
geometric design. And they always come to you in these bags made from repurposed textiles. And I like to source those from thrift stores and get pieces that might not stand a strong chance of being purchased. So repurposing fabric that very well may otherwise end up in a landfill.
That's so true. Very, very true. Yeah, and people don't realize that fabric is really bad for the environment. So you're doing a good job by recycling it. Yeah. So where now? You've got all these wonderful pieces. How are you marketing it, and how are you spreading the word?
So as it stands now, I've been on my own website for the last couple of years and dabbled a little bit with social media marketing. And I'm trying to spread awareness through different publications in addition.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you're with Brightside, so that is awesome. Grace was on our show, and she made a huge impact. It was like such a talking piece as well. I really love it. It's in the store for Brightside, so make sure you click on the link and go and get it. And we'll be promoting it all through and right up to Valentine's Day. And New Year's is the proposal season when many people propose, and what better way to propose, or even if you're getting married, to give your bridesmaid gifts. So what better way to give something that's handmade, made in the USA, woman-owned business, all the things that I love. So I highly recommend that you go get some. So thank you for watching Discover Brightside. Tell us about your website and how can people find you.
So I can be found at sugacreations.com. Suga, that's Tsuga Creations. And I can also be found on Instagram at Tsuga Beadwork and as well as on Facebook and can
Wonderful.
be followed there. And I also have an email list through my website where you can get a little in-depth tour of my brand and also some fun little goodies in there.
Yeah, I think it's really delightful. So it was lovely talking to you, and I wish you much success and a happy holiday. And we hope to see more of you on our show. So thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for having me.